there hasn't been a video that I've uploaded on my channel where I felt just like going on the offensive. There's a lot of reactive commentary that I make talking about people who shit on me for No Man's Sky or Fallout or whatever the case is. There's a lot of reactive and a lot of defensive, and I do get defensive when people are just out here spitting bullshit and just not even being logical in their thought process. And usually I can see this coming down the road when I'm editing the video. I know that it's going to cause a sort of reaction. Whatever the case is, people might love it, people might think it's controversial, people might hate me. It's just the way it is when you express an opinion. Now, this Bethesda video that I put out yesterday really surprised me. There were a lot of people that liked it, a lot of people that shared it, and a lot of people that said, hey, you know, good video, I agree 100%, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the ones who don't agree. However, I want to address some of the points that people make, especially the one, and I see it a lot in that comment section, and that's the idea of waiting. We live in a society nowadays where everything is at our fingertips instantaneously. We want to know a fact about something that happened in 1920, we can Google it. We can watch Netflix and we can stream in HD instantaneously. We can play video games, and if the online connection is hiccuping, we get frustrated. Everybody is... We're in a generation where everything happens instantaneously right now. And I feel that as Bethesda, as a company, as somebody who has grown from living in a generation where we didn't have that kind of connectivity and growing into a generation that does have that connectivity, the fact that they're now asking us to wait for information in a generation and in an age where that just doesn't happen is archaic to me, because you as a company know that we live in this generation. We live in this age that everybody wants it now. You are actively targeting gaming media in pursuit of higher sales numbers. And a lot of people like to just look at the video that I made, and yeah, I swore a lot. I went off because it pisses me off. A lot of people looked at that as me just being mad that I don't get free copies of games, like I really do anyway. For the sake of transparency, Titanfall 2 is coming out on Friday, and I believe I'm getting a key for that. And then I have Watch Dogs 2, a Ubisoft game, and a lot of you guys have come from Ghost Recon, Watch Dogs, and the coverage that I've done, and I've been pretty critical of Ubisoft titles, and they actually reached out and said, hey, we made a connection, and I might be getting a Watch Dogs review code. Just for the sake of transparency, those are the first two AAA games that I have even attempted to get a review copy for. Everything else has been purchased by either myself or donations that I have accrued from Twitch or Patreon or wherever else I make a little bit of revenue doing this in my YouTube, the ad revenue that I make from YouTube. I don't get these copies, so the fact that that came into question just shows that there are people out here who are willing to just shove anything in the person's face in favor of Bethesda, and that's an issue. Because when I see so many people doing it, there were so many comments, people saying you should wait, people saying that I'm just whining, people saying that all I want are free games. I see all these comments and I see these people, and it happens again and again and again, to the point where I am actively waiting for Bethesda to fail so that you guys can see the impact that this policy has. And that's not a good thing. This is the same feeling that I got with No Man's Sky, because the hype train was so astronomical for it that I knew it was going to crash. And when people were at my throat about it, I was just waiting for the storm. And it wasn't the fact that it was, oh, Big Fry proved you wrong. It was more of a fact like, now you guys see the implications of hype, of pre-orders, and of believing developers and taking their word at face value. And now we're running into a different yet similar situation with Bethesda and all of their future titles. I'm actively waiting for one of those titles to fail. And it's not that I want it to fail. If Bethesda could pump out great games for the rest of eternity, fantastic. But when that one turd drops and people question why review copies weren't given out prior to launch, that's when it's going to be like, this is what we get as an industry, as a community of people who just take whatever it is these developers throw at us. We allowed DLC to happen. We allowed microtransactions to happen. We allowed season passes. We allowed pre-order culture to thrive, only to have a company like Bethesda turn around and tell us to wait, at the same time giving us a digital incentive to pre-order games. We allowed it all to happen. And I'm at the point now where I've spoken so much about this that I'm really anxious to see how far these studios and these companies can push it. We've allowed so many things to infect gaming as well on top of it, and actually on top of it and at the core of the issue, we've allowed games to get worse, to deteriorate, to the point where we have to praise companies like CD Projekt Red for giving us free DLC and actually supporting the project post-launch and post-release. CD Projekt Red in 2016 is like the shining star of the industry. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, they would just be another company doing the exact same thing. This whole Bethesda ordeal is just another notch on the checklist of how can we fuck consumers today. It's not about review codes for me. It's not about money. It's not about anything else. It's about standing by your products and not being spineless. If you never give me a review copy, ever, it doesn't matter. I would say the same thing. And you haven't given me review copies, and I'm fine with that. I earn my money, and I purchase my games. And if developers want to reach out because they believe that I can be an influence for them and want to give me a review copy for whatever game, that's cool too. But just know that that comes with stipulations where I say what I want, when I want, and about whatever I want. If your game sucks, people deserve to know. It's just sad to see how pathetic the gaming industry has become. My name is Big Fry. Shout out to the Fry Nation. We gotta stop letting this shit happen. We just have to. I'll see you on the next one.